creating success to launch or grow your business. Public Relations with Missy McFarlane.
I'm Missy McFarlane, founder and principal of B2 Communications. We're a St. Petersburg PR agency that helps companies professionally communicate. We were founded in 2010 to help companies with media relations, social media, and content development. I have a few tips for companies who are launching or expanding their products. My first tip would be to really define your target audience. Know exactly who you want to buy your product or service, which helps you figure out how they're going to use it, which is my second tip. Talk about the benefits, not the features of your product or service. Really talk about the pain point that your target audience has and describe how your product or service really solves a challenge that they have in running their business or in facing some of their challenges. Really explain to them what is the benefit of them using your product or service, not just the features of it. My third tip is don't discount the power of your self-published content, meaning your own content, your website, your social media, an email newsletter. Really, those things are very powerful for you because you're able to be in control of them, but it's also creating your own target audience. So really communicating directly with them and communicating frequently to them is a way that you can help stay top of mind with your target audiences. One of my biggest tips for someone who's looking to grow or expand their business through public relations, it's reading and watching the news and starting to think about how they're covering your competitors or how they're covering your industry, and thinking about how would they cover me if I was in the paper, if I was on TV. And sometimes it might be writing a letter to the editor or sending an email to one of the beat writers who's covering your industry. And it's really easy, fairly inexpensive, it's just the cost of a subscription, to follow how they're covering your industry and to think about getting coverage for your own business. Another tip for a company that's looking to grow or expand is to get really involved in the community, either finding a chamber or a networking group or something that sparks your passion and really getting involved in the industry. It really opens up the doors to meet other people. They're not necessarily like-minded people, but other than having a passion for your community. But it's a way to get to know people on a one-on-one level who might be able to help you grow your business or provide an option or service that you don't currently provide. So it could be a potential partnership, could be a potential client, but if nothing else comes from it, you're doing good in the community. One way that I've seen the power of e-newsletters work for our clients is we worked with a construction company throughout the downturn to help them create an email newsletter that went to some of their clients that had been inactive. They'd maybe completed a project for them, but they really hadn't been doing any current projects. And it also went to people that they met in the community. So it went out to a fairly decent sized email group, had about a 50% open rate, which is great for emails. And it highlighted different trends that were happening in their industry and also some of their completed projects. And what the purpose of the email newsletter was simply to remind their past customers that they exist. And sometimes that's all your past customers need, is a reminder of, we worked together at one point, we're great at what we do, and here we are, so please call us because we'd love to work together. And for them, some of their past clients actually came through with projects that they might not have otherwise had, and it really helped them stay busy during the downturn.
Advertising with Ben Lee.
My name is Ben Lee, and I'm one of the founders and principals of Schifino Lee Advertising and Branding. We're headquartered here in Tampa, Florida. We were founded in 1993, 23 years ago. And our firm specializes in advertising and branding for national and multinational companies. And we also have a specialty in business-to-business services. I really have three different tips, both on the professional side, what I would recommend to a client on how to launch or expand their business. Also, three tips as a business owner, how I launched my own business. For a client, the first thing I would do is to suggest they really understand the competition and their customers. Talk to the customers, view where they're buying the products, really study how their competition is marketing themselves. The second tip is to differentiate, to do something different with their product or service that other competitors are not doing, because if you're not differentiated, you're just the same. And the third tip would be to only buy what you really need. If you don't need to do advertising at this stage of the game, don't spend money at it. You have to build things from the ground up. If you jump to the top of the mountain, you can waste a lot of money. The thing I would do if I was starting a business in a new area outside of my field of expertise would be really to talk to people, to talk to customers. I mean, to literally interview them, sit down with them, or pick their brain for as much time as possible, because your opinion and my opinion mean nothing. All that matters is really what the customer believes. And so you have to understand deeply what the customer's needs are in order to be successful. Just literally standing at a store in front of where they're buying the things that you want to be selling and talking and watching how they go about making their purchase is very important. Or going to a trade show and wandering around the trade show and interacting with the buyers and sellers of that industry. So the three tips that I would offer for someone launching their own business are three things that somebody told me when I started my own. One is do a financial pro forma to determine how successful financially your company will be and how long your cash will last before you need to dip in and find some more. The second thing is to be very specific as to what you're offering. You know, don't try to be everything to everybody, but to know exactly what service or product you'll be selling to your customers. The third area is to make it unique and different, to add a twist, to make it memorable so people will really remember what you're doing as opposed to what everybody else is doing. People only value what they pay for. And as a new business, even if you're charging to a big customer just $1, getting them to agree to pay $1 is better than trying to do it for free and hopefully they'll want to hire you later. If they invest just $1 in you, that means they have a little bit of stake in the game. They've had to go through their purchasing department to at least, generate an invoice. And that is the start of a relationship, and then you can say that you were paid to do so on this job. As an owner of an advertising agency, and over the last 20 years, I've seen hundreds of entrepreneurs, inventors, business people come into my doors, come into our conference room, and I can say with certainty, unless you have a business plan and a passion and the financial backing, it does not work. You have to have all three of those together, or you're going to run out of one and quit and move on to something else. For those who are interested in learning more about Schifino Lee, please visit schifinolee.com.
Attracting media attention with Alexis Miller.
Hi, I'm Alexis Miller. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Tampa Bay Business Journal. I've done that now for about 12 years, and the Business Journal's been around for a lot longer than I have been in Tampa Bay. We've been here since the early 80s, providing business-to-business news that business people use to grow their careers, find people to work with and do business with, and simplify their professional lives. And we do it through a daily digital news organization and a weekly print edition. And we also have events all year long that recognize excellence in a whole bunch of different industries. The first bit of advice I want to provide in terms of attracting the media to your organization or your company is to establish a relationship with the content creators, the editors, the reporters, the staff of that media organization. Get to know those people, try and get on their calendars for a cup of coffee, or just have some time for you to get to know each other as human beings, because that's an important starting point, to have your information and your pitch and potential news about your organization taken seriously. News organizations are constantly looking for things that nobody else has. And one way to ensure in a digital environment, we're in a digital world, is to make sure that what you're pitching has all elements of a great story, which is compelling visual content, the opportunity to tell a story through words and pictures. These days, it's such a draw, and we all really hone in on content that is visually appealing. So not only does it have to be a photo op in the traditional sense, but you want to think about things like light, sound, and visual quality, because those are the kinds of things that even a print news organization, and we aren't that anymore, we're a digital news organizations, especially in the case of the Business Journal, are looking for content that has that rich quality that can extend beyond the page, into a website that at a time where video is something that people are really interested in. So as you develop pitches and you understand the organizations that you're pitching to and really craft content and stories that they want and that nobody else has, the visual component, visual storytelling, is a critical piece. Once you've made the connection and you have the story that you want to tell, it's really understanding how different news organizations are and how their needs are very different. The business community for which we serve at the Business Journal is very different than a daily news organization. And it takes time to understand, how to pitch exclusive content that they don't ever get a chance to see or hear. And so the relationship building that you've done in advance, preparing the visuals that are compelling and making sure that you have the right content that's going to attract them is the first part of the story. But then so often we see people who pitch stories just miss that last piece, which is to understand, hey, what are the needs of your organization and how can I fill that hole? If you're a business professional, you're running an organization, you're focused on your organization, and it's hard to find the time to embark on this skill set of pitching media. So you may consider hiring somebody in the public relations world or somebody who has been a former journalist who understands how this process works. The other part about that is once you've established that role as an expert source or somebody who can provide information or comment, it's not always about you, it's about what you know. And that's also a very valuable resource for news organizations because you need other voices to explain, why this matters. People are always interested in how journalists get ideas. And very often in this day and age, journalists are reactive, meaning they sit and wait for press releases for people to call. And that's good if you are the person on the other end trying to make a pitch. But the real quality content comes from journalists who are enterprising. They do enterprise journalism, and that means that they come up with ideas on their own. And they do that because they're naturally curious, and they have the relationships with people that they can call and ask, hey, what's happening? And if you can become one of those people and have a relationship with journalists that puts you on the list of calls, then that's one step. But these days with social media and having a strong social media presence, understanding how to target journalism and news organizations through the right handles, through the right engagement and messaging and interacting with them on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, those are increasingly ways for which our news organization, the Tampa Bay Business Journal, is developing ideas that aren't necessarily so obvious. So it's a changing digital environment. Ideas come from everywhere. But if you can have a relationship for which you provide and help provide ideas for news people, that's incredibly valuable. If you'd like more information about the Tampa Bay Business Journal, or if you have news or great ideas, or you'd like to engage with us, there are many ways to do that. Our website is tampabaybusinessjournal.com. Our Twitter handle is @TBBJNewsroom. And my direct line phone number, because I welcome calls and feedback and ideas, is 813-342-2472.
Website design with Chrissy Ray.
My name is Chrissy Ray. I represent Ad Partners. I'm the head of the interactive department there. Ad Partners is a full-service ad agency, which means they do pretty much everything. We do print, we do web, outdoor, TV commercials, the whole package. The 3 tips I would offer someone launching or starting a business who's looking for building a website would be, first, look at what you need your site to do for you. What information do you need to convey? Are you selling something? Are you putting out information? On the flip side of that, also figure out how your clients are most likely to be using your site. Look at it from a consumer standpoint. What would I want to see if I went to a site doing what I do? That can help you create a better user experience for them. The second thing that's very important is how are people going to find your site? So search engine optimization is key in this area because sometimes people will just see your URL on an advertisement and go to your site, but most of the time people find things online by going to a search engine and typing something in. Being in those results is important and you need to know how to make that happen for your site. The third thing to keep in mind is that websites are not static entities. You don't just put it up and forget about it. You want to measure your results. You want to get a good return on your investment for this site. So you want to keep an eye on your traffic, see how it's working for you. Is it bringing in customers? Is it doing what you want it to do that you decided back in step one? And if it's not, how do you change it to do that? Or if it is working, how do you improve on and enhance those results? Things you should look for when hiring a web developer or a company to develop your website for you are their experience in the industry and their reliability. So you want to look at past work that they've done, see that they can do the kind of thing that you're looking for them to do. If you know anyone else who has worked with them, that's always a plus, or if they have good references. A good website is worth the investment of doing it right, and you'll get less headaches in the end if you go with someone you feel you can trust. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing right, and this holds true for your website. It's very important to how the world perceives you. In this day and age, it's very important to have a web presence for your business, so you want it to represent you. You want it to convey what you want to convey about your business, and you will have a successful website. To learn more about website design strategies, I'd familiarize yourself with the general idea of search engine optimization so you know what all goes into that package. There are a number of good sites out there that have resources that you can use, such as moz.com and lynda.com, and you just familiarize yourself with the topics, and then at least you'll be informed so you can work with your developer to build the site you want. If you'd like more information about Ad Partners, you can visit our website at adpartnersagency.com or give us a call at 813-418-4645.
Search Engine Optimization with Steve Scott.
My name's Steve Scott. I'm with the Tampa SEO Training Academy. I've been in business now for over 20 years, the Academy for 10. We specialize in all forms of internet marketing, what's called search engine optimization, and we basically help businesses get their websites ranked at the top of the search engines for when people are searching for their products and services. One of the most important things you need to do is have a web presence and not just a website. Everybody thought, hey, we build a website and people will come. Well, the problem is now that people are everywhere. They're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Twitter, they're on Pinterest, they're on Instagram. And we have to make sure that we're also there. We have to be wherever our consumers are. So if we're a very visually oriented company, we're into jewelry, we're into cakes or dresses, we want to be in places that are visual, like Pinterest or Instagram. If we're a business-to-business company, we have to make sure that we're out on LinkedIn, where businesses are looking for other businesses. And if we're business-to-consumer, we want to be on Facebook. Facebook gets 1 trillion page views a month. We need to make sure that we're out there too and that we're communicating with our consumers. So we no longer have just a website, we have a web presence. And since all those consumers are looking and finding our websites in multiple ways, our website has to be mobile friendly. We've got more mobile devices out there than we have computers. More and more of us these days are searching for local businesses on our mobile devices, and we have to make it easy and quick for the customer who does find our website on a mobile device to be able to click that button and make a call directly. Over 70% of people in surveys have said that they really want to see a click-to-call on both tablet devices and mobile devices. So mobile-friendly is a must these days. Another tip that you really need to focus in on is tracking and monitoring everything that's going on your website. It's not good just to have a website and not know where people are coming from. Are they coming from paid ads that you're putting out there? Are they coming from Yelp? Are they coming from search? Are they coming from some other website that's out there, from Facebook, from LinkedIn? Where are people coming from? How are they getting to your website? Are they doing the things on your website that you want them to do, such as filling out a form or downloading a white paper or some other way to interact with you and connecting with you? So it's really important that you install a tool like Google's Analytics or a similar tool like it, and also to make sure you understand what Google knows about your site and Bing by using their Search Console or Webmaster Tool products. These are totally free, easy to access, and give you great information about how your website's doing and where there might be problems. Finally, A great tip that you need to be aware of is not everybody really knows what they're doing in the SEO business. And you as a business owner really need to understand what's being done for you and what you're paying people to do for you. Too often I find in my training classes that business owners are coming in and they're really annoyed, they're irritated, they've been spending thousands of dollars a month on an SEO company, and that company may not in fact be doing the right job. There's over 200 different signals that Google looks at to determine who's going to rank number 1, number 2, and number 3. And if your SEO company only knows like 40 or 50 of them, well, there's 3/4 of the things that they don't know that could be causing you harm. And if you're a business owner, it's important, it's your job not to be ignorant about it, but to know what's going on, to direct the work, and not just hope and pray that you've hired the right company, because too often that's not what happens. A great story, back in 2011, the New York Times was actually doing some research on JCPenney, because JCPenney kept showing up number 1 for all these little like clothing and dresses and all these sort of manufacturer names. So you'd type in Samsonite luggage, and you'd think the Samsonite website would be number 1, but JCPenney was coming up. And so they wanted to know what was going on. They looked into it. And what it turned out to be was that the company that JCPenney was using to do their search engine optimization had been doing something called, that was basically against the rules. They call it black hat. And this company wound up getting JCPenney basically knocked off of Google for about 90 days, I believe it was. But the problem is, well, Google doesn't care, right? Google doesn't know that you didn't do that you didn't hire someone and say, go ahead and do this. So it's really important that you know what's going on, because if someone like JCPenney can get flagged and busted and beat down by Google, trust me, a small business that's just getting started, that doesn't know what they're doing, and is hiring someone that they hope and pray is going to do the right job for them, you just got to know what's going on. You have to be informed, because it could be a major problem in the long run. If you'd like to reach me, you can find me on the web at www.tampa-seo.com, or just search Google for Tampa SEO Training Academy. You'll find us right at the top. I can be reached at 877-736-7361, extension 704.
Advertising with Hector Bauza.
Well, my name is Hector Bauza Enriquez. My agency name is Accent Strategy Group. This was founded in 2014. We specialize in multicultural marketing. So we develop campaigns for Hispanics, African American, Portuguese, or Asians. And that includes TV spots, radio spots, digital media. We also do grassroots, public relations, and anything that billboards, anything that helps the client communicate with this niche. If you're launching up or expanding your business, the best 3 things to do are identify your target market, do and develop a marketing strategy, and be clear about your budget. Those 3 things will help you start in the right direction to expand or grow your business. Mike Vallis was a client of mine in Western Massachusetts, and we started dealing with the Hispanic market through Juan and Miguel were 2 of the salespersons at the dealership, and I found out that Mike knew Spanish, but we put it in the TV spots. It was an instant success, and at the end of the spots, I will say, Mike Vallis is in the house. He called me one day, and he was laughing and say, man, it cost me a lot of money being in your TV spots. And I said, why? He said, I went to a bar, and when I opened the door, everybody looked at me and say, Mike Vallis is in the house. So he felt so good, he paid the drinks for everybody. You want to market your business or learn more how to be more effective in your marketing, you should contact the Small Business Development Center. They have a lot of programs and free classes of marketing, digital marketing, and also they offer in terms of how to connect with the government contracts and all this kind of good stuff. If you like to read, you can read at the adage.com or hispanicad.com. Those are very good online publications with trending updates in terms of advertising and marketing.
Social media with Lisa Demi.
My name is Lisa Demi, and I am the Vice President of Marketing for Kohler House. My specialties are social media, so any kind of social site, blogging, vlogging, all of the content marketing realm. When you're marketing for business and you want to use social media, there are many different platforms and tools that you can choose. The first thing is to know that you don't have to use all of them. So Facebook is one of the most used sites of all, and probably the most user-friendly. And it actually hits a wide range of demographics. Something else that I think you've got to do, if you're not doing it now, you are missing out, is video. I think YouTube is the second biggest search engine now, and it's a Google product. So it helps with your organic SEO or search engine optimization, because Google likes when you play with their toys. And then the other thing is blogging. What are the 10 top questions that your clients ask you? And those are your first 10 blog posts. And you want to write just a 300 to 600 word article that answers the questions that your clients would have. There are many places you can find out information about social media, and they don't have to cost a lot. Lynda.com is a great site for taking courses. It's a monthly fee, but it'll show you everything you need to know. YouTube is a great site for learning how to do things. When I first started, I Googled everything and figured out how to set up my blog, how to utilize the social media tools. There's HubSpot. They are a great content marketing website. There's Social Media Examiner is a great one. You can catch me at whatupdog.com. But it's a really great way to see. I set this blog up myself, so it's nothing fancy, but it's effective and it gets views, and I think it would be a good place for you to start to look at how a blog should be set up.